Daniel Badillo podcast.
Welcome to the Forge by Design podcast. This is your host, Daniel Badillo. Thank you so much for all your support, for following us through all our social media channels. It means the world to us. We have an amazing guest today. We've been planning this out. I've been calling, I've been behind him, many other things, but he is just as an intro, because this man is so diverse. This young man, talented man, is so diverse in many talents and abilities that we're going to try to dissect and many of these things and do an autopsy of his life, his career, dreams, aspirations, and future ambitions. He's a director, AVL director. He's also in cyber operations and in the military, which brings a lot of amazing skills, which I already tap into, but I'm always learning from these individuals who bring real world experience. So without further ado, Sergeant Isaias Laureano, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. First of all, I just want to thank you because, I've been behind you, as I always say, and we had some heart-to-heart conversations. We share the same faith.
Yes.
We have similar visions and similar fear of God and whatnot. And that's amazing to connect with someone you can home into and share these aspirations in life. So that definitely resonates with my spirit to have transparent conversations, heart-to-heart conversations, and I'm delighted that you're here today.
Thank you for having me. It's always good catching up with you, and our conversations are always great.
Amazing.
Great.
So one of the things that we were talking off camera was that the fact that your leadership skills, your diversity in leading people, in managing people, started way beyond what I thought what it really was. And before your military career, you had a specific business that we want to talk about, and how you managed that at such a young age. So that was very impressive. I think if I can share, at 18 years old,
little younger than that actually.
Well,
it wasn't my own business.
How did it all start?
So, I think since it's a leadership podcast, giving honor to where honors due. Absolutely. I think first off, my parents and church.
Okay.
Growing up, we grew up in the same denomination.
Sure.
Different years, but we grew up similar.
Similar environment, yes.
And you know that with the denomination that we came out of, they are they're very giving to young people having the ability to lead.
Correct.
So it started with that, leading in church, leading the youth.
Were you a youth pastor? We call it president of the youth
president,
society.
Secretary, treasurer,
musicians, accountant,
everything. I was actually a subtesorero, all of that stuff,
sub-treasurer,
right?
Yeah.
So
we have a similar trajectory.
Very much so, and it started there, and just the hard work.
Yes,
started there, and I was about 16 years old when I went to go shadow a friend of mine at a AVL company. And his boss just noticed the way that I was working.
And AVL stands for those that don't know,
audio, video, lighting.
Audio, video, and lighting. Yes.
So I'm military and also coming from production. So there's a lot of acronyms that I may shoot out. So just stop me.
That's why I always try to clarify, because what may seem is like the term MOS, right?
Yes.
Military Occupational Specialty.
Correct.
I throw that acronym out there because all my brothers were military, right? So it comes natural to me. But these acronyms that people that do not know, maybe a different background, sometimes we need to clarify.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah. So notice that I was just working. I was working free at that point. It was in the University of Miami, big arena. Probably about, I think there was probably about like 40,000 people.
Wow,
about 30,000 more or less.
That's an amazing place to have such a business.
Yeah. So just started picking up and working and helping out. And he said, "Hey, just come back next week." Okay. And just continue.
So you're 16. You were in high school.
High school.
So you were doing this after school.
I was just doing it after school on the
erratic
weekends.
Hours, weekends.
The hours were crazy.
And from my research on AVL, for those that have their own business, these major corporations, they actually plan their holidays very differently because they need AVL during Christmas season or a conference season, or an organization is having an activity that's very important for the company, And so they have to continuously adjust their schedule and find these contracts soon because there's competition.
Yeah.
So did you live through that? Through these erratic hours, weekends, all of it?
All of it. So I mean, the weekends were always long. That's usually when our events are. So starting Thursday, Friday, I'll be going to school, getting picked up, and just wouldn't be home till Sunday. Sunday evening, maybe Monday morning, going back to school, doing it all over again. I would work 24 to 48 hours straight sometimes, with a little nap under a stage at times. But just,
so you were assembling all the equipment and disassembling,
running the events, doing audio, video, lighting, all of that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
how many were you? You said it was a company.
Yeah. So within the company, full-time staffers, we were about 6 to 8.
6 to 8.
But during events, our team would grow up to 20 to 30. So at 16, got hired on as a contractor, then finally got hired on full time.
Okay.
And I was doing college as well as that.
Okay.
And from there, I just started. I became the manager of the production company.
When was it college? What kind of events? Like just college football games or graduations?
Everything.
Everything.
We went from weddings to weddings. His wife also had my boss's wife also had. They owned a decor company and a marketing company. So it was under the house, it was all in one.
Yes.
So we were doing anything from weddings to major concerts to church events.
Sure. That's a lot of equipment. If I'm trying to do an inventory in my mind about the cabling, the lighting, the fixtures, the racks where you put the lights on, everything. And all that. Did they have a warehouse? Did they have a commercial place?
Commercial warehouse, huge warehouse.
Vans to transport the equipment.
Trucks. I was driving. I started learning how to drive a 24-foot box truck when I was like 17, 18. Right? We don't talk about licenses like that.
But you were driving the vehicle to those events.
Yes.
And that's amazing. 6 or 7 people. So when you were full-time, this was after high school. So let's say you graduated high school, you were still doing the AVL with this organization.
Yes.
Okay. How long did you do that before? Well, you ended up with your own business before that.
No, you did not. I opened up my own business recently, within the last couple of years.
Okay, but you were managing this organization.
Managing the production company.
So how, from you as a manager, obviously, of this AVL, having potentially 5 people under you, whatnot. What leadership skills at that young age does a young man need to have in order to be successful?
Humbleness.
Okay.
And the reason being is, at such a young age, got hired on at 16. I knew a little bit, learned so much. So by 18, 19 years old, I'm managing a couple of guys at the warehouse, then going on to shows and events, and I'm managing 15 to 20 guys.
Oh my God, that's a huge group.
Yeah. So
what would the age range from
for the men?
Yes.
So that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
Why I needed this skill of humbleness as a leader is, you have an 18, 19-year-old managing 20 men that have been in this industry for a while, and they're about twice my age.
Wow.
So we have 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, couple 50-year-olds.
Yes.
And they see me walk in, and I'm just barking orders and doing this, driving, and just, my boss at the time, he still is with the city of Miami. He was a police officer.
Okay.
And so he was working, and I was running everything, just taking care of things for him. He'll show up, and we'll go ahead and attack this together.
Sure.
And at the time, I had to learn how to be humble.
Absolutely.
Because, these 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds are looking at a 19-year-old that, like, what do you know? Right?
Oh,
so
wow.
I learned quickly, it's okay, I'm going to give what it is that needs to be done, and I'm going to stay in my lane, and eventually they're going to understand, okay, he knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely.
He's humble enough,
and
he's confident enough to be able to lead us.
Wow, small venues, medium venues, and these
large venues.
That's amazing. You know, as a project manager, you know, the initiation stage, these opening meetings, trying to get a concept of a project cycle, a time cycle, project cycle, looking at resources, risk mitigation, looking to see what's going to be the sequence of this event. It can get just the upfront work on the planning side. We have not even executed. We have not even called the supply chain or anything like that. Just on this is what we're going to do. For example, September 23rd, we're going to have a concert. We need this equipment, whatnot. And then push comes to shove, we're going to put Mr. Isaias Laureano, Mr. 19-year-old, in charge of a massive group of people that are twice his age. Yeah. And then they're going to take, I won't say orders, but they're going to take instructions on the what, when, where, how, with whom, and how many. And after that, just success will be assembling it, right? Everything's got to work, first of all. And then you have to disassemble, dismantle that. How did you handle the stress on those events? It can't be all easy. It was not a rosy road.
It wasn't easy, but I think, you know how some people are just built different.
Sure. You think you were built different?
I think I was just built different. Okay. Right? Just the confidence that my boss gave me. Okay. Just the here's the baton and go with it. Okay. Right? That's why it's important for young leaders to learn and have the space to be able to fail. Sure. To be able to learn. And with that, I had that.
Amazing.
And I was able to just, understand, okay, this is stressful, but if I've been charged with it, I could do it. They saw something in me.
Sure. I love the fact that you said, that you have to be humble, because humility or humbleness makes you more a candidate to receive constructive criticism from these older guys. But it's also a soft skill, right? In my industry, we have a lot of people that have hard skills, amazing hard skills. They're top of the line in their industry. We're talking about engineers, designers, process guys, stuff like that. They're really good at what they do. But the interaction with other groups, in the one-to-one, face-to-face, or how they approach other sets of groups, other companies, is such lacking the soft skills. So they themselves create a barrier where nobody, he's not approachable. We can't talk to him, whether it be arrogance or just a little bit abrasive, even though they're the best of what they do. And that sometimes can impede growth and impede better development. So I'm glad that you were humble and you did that. So how many?
That's actually something, and going into that leadership and the humbleness. Something that I wrote here was authority without humility is toxic.
Authority without humility is toxic.
Yes. And then humility without authority is ineffective.
Humility without authority is ineffective. So they have to go hand in hand.
It has to go hand in hand.
Amazing.
Has to go hand in hand. And I think it was important for me at this young age to learn that, because I was able to carry that through all the different stages and careers that I've had.
Outstanding.
And tried my best to be humble.
So there was one failure. I always ask our guests, one failure is in that AVL experience where you went home and you sat down and the event is over, things already stored in the warehouse in that commercial place, vans are parked, people went home with their families, and you're at home, I'm assuming living with your parents?
At the time? Yes, okay. I was living with my parents.
Okay, so you're in your room living with your parents, and you could, and maybe you said to yourself, I should have handled that differently. Yeah. Were there occasions like that as well?
So almost every weekend.
Almost every
weekend. You got a young 19-year-old just in charge of so much. I mean, how many vans or trucks did I not crash or hit, or just equipment that gets forgotten?
Remember, that's many years ago. Don't contact him now. That's been many years ago.
Very much. Okay. And my boss knows.
He saw that extra scratch on the side of the van.
Yeah. The statute of limitation on vehicles and licenses, that's all gone.
Amazing.
But it was just laying there at night and getting my butt chewed out by my boss because I forgot something. Right. He was hard on me.
Hopefully not equipment. You didn't leave a cable?
Yes.
You did?
Oh, yes. 100%. Just leaving cables, leaving mic stands, right?
Sure,
I remember one time I left the entire case of mic stands.
Oh, my God.
Right? Like, how are we pulling off an event? And I don't remember what it was, but we were 4 hours away from Miami to Orlando, and I forgot something crucial. You know, it's just a bad day.
Sure.
Bad day when that happens. And, you know, my boss just lost it and just went in on me. Yeah. And I wasn't upset.
Sure.
Because that's how I learned. I learned by constructive criticism. I learned by failing. I learned by somebody pulling me aside and say, hey, you could have done this better. And it's leadership, right?
Right.
And but yeah, so many times that night I'm like, man, I got chewed out because of this. But guess what?
Not next time.
It didn't happen again.
Man, that's amazing.
It didn't happen again.
One of the things about, you know, project management, the different iterations of a project that's very malleable, very fluid, is the fact that, you know, the importance of process steps. You said that you failed to maybe that case of microphones or whatnot, that roll call of a checklist to say, do I have this? Do I have that? Or first of all, you got to say, I went in with so many equipment, so many cases, so many boxes, blah, 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 inventory. And then, you know, doing a roll call about what went in the van, and maybe you could have caught it. Maybe, who knows? Yeah. You know, sometimes it's the hectic activity to dismantle things and just wrap it up and go home and get paid and tell them, hey, we had a success. And then it was probably a mega success, but man, at the end of the day, you left that case. Yeah. All right. So, he'll send you the receipt, and just in case Sergeant Laureano is going to do that. So how do you transition from that lifestyle, from that amazing career, learning through the trenches, real life experience, not textbook. You're living this, you're going through these events, you're interacting with a lot of people, in charge of a lot of people. Yeah. How does that transition to a military career?
So I'm working. I'm also in school for criminal justice.
Okay.
So I had my eyes set on being a detective.
Where did you study criminal justice?
Where?
Yeah, where?
Down in South in Broward County.
Okay. So this is still Miami, or is it?
Still in South Florida.
Still in South Florida. Okay.
Still in South Florida.
Okay.
So I live in South Florida, studying criminal justice. Have my eyes set on being a detective. I want to go into the police force.
Okay.
At the time, Broward County Sheriff's Office was hiring everybody. You breathed. Okay. You passed that test. You could run.
Was it that bad?
It was bad. They were taking everybody. Right? Okay. And so I studied for it. Passed the CJ BAT.
Okay. What does that mean?
So
here comes another acronym. Let me see. For you
CJ
guys.
BAT. If I could even remember, this has been so long. Criminal justice. Basic aptitude test.
You tell me. I have no idea.
This was going on like 15, 20 years almost.
How old were you when they were reaching out? And
so I started reaching out. I was about 19 to 20 when I was really showing interest to start applying. 22 to 23 when I was something has to give. Like I have to start this career path a little sooner rather than later. So I got married. I was about 20, 21 when I was married. And I asked my boss, I'm like, hey, you know, I need some life insurance. I need dental, some medical insurance. How are we working this? And he said, I'll get back to you. So I'm always looking at different avenues, what we have. And it was a God thing, because while all of this is working out, or while he's searching that and I'm just working out other avenues, I applied to Broward Sheriff's Office, where I really wanted to go, where everybody was getting hired. I'm like, I took the test, great scores, and got the letter, denied.
Okay.
I was taken back. I'm like, got denied. I didn't understand it.
Sure.
And knowing now is just God protected me from that.
Okay.
Because I would not be where I am now if I would have taken that career. Yeah. So, 2012, I went into a recruiter's office, and I was talking to my then brother-in-law, and he's like, hey man, look at this cyber MOS.
Sure.
Look at this cyber job. It's brand new. So finally I went into that. I talked to them. They're like, we don't have that. We don't know what that is. And I'm like, you have it.
Yeah, right.
Like, I know you have it.
Right.
Do some research.
So what did they want to offer you? Because
they offered me so much.
Gunner, infantry,
They offered me
combat medic.
They offered me everything but what I wanted.
I scored high. I scored high on the ASVAB test. And for those that don't know, I as well, my brothers were in the military, a big influence on my life. Like you, there was something more self-serving that I wanted to serve and be of service, and what more to be part of, the armed forces. Yeah. And I went there. They were just like, they were recruiting left and right. The recruiter had a quota to me. I think it was like 30 soldiers a month. Iraqi freedom. We were in Afghanistan. We were in Kuwait. We were everywhere. This is the time of the Bushes, right? Looking for weapons of mass destruction. That period. So I scored high. They offered me mechanical engineering, right, off the bat. I'm like, oh, that's great, right? And then I got cold feet. But that's another podcast. Mr. Laureano, Sergeant Laureano is the focal point. Yeah. So they threw everything, nothing stuck with you, and then you told them, hey, this
I knew what I wanted.
Yeah, you knew what you wanted.
I knew what I wanted.
And how, why were they procrastinating so much?
At the time, the job was not available for new assessment or new recruits coming in from the street.
Sure.
The job was not available for them. The job was only a transitional MOS or a transitional job that for military members that were already in the Army.
Okay.
So I caught wind of it. I did some research and I knew, and the recruiter didn't know what it was, and I'm like, do some research, I'll come back.
He did not know what it was. That's very interesting.
Didn't know, yeah.
Even
they
normally know everything. You know what I mean?
It's rare for the Army to create
2012,
new MOSs. Yeah,
that's very interesting.
Yeah, so I signed up, and in 2 weeks I was out.
Okay, deployed?
No, in 2 weeks I was already at basic training.
You were at basic training just like that?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a tough 2 weeks.
Okay, you were married. How did that go?
Oh, I mean, moving.
You were newlywed, right?
Yeah.
Almost,
about
2
year
years.
And a half.
Yeah, a year and a half, 2 years.
A year and a half married.
I said, sweetheart, I got accepted. Cyber, I'm out.
We're out. We're going. So
to where?
So I was. I packed up our apartment, put it in a storage, moved her back into her parents' house.
Yeah.
And I left.
That's a lot of logistics.
A lot. For 2 weeks, it's a lot.
Where was your basic training?
So basic training was in Fort Benning, Georgia.
Fort Benning, Georgia. Okay, that's south of here.
More towards the west.
More to the west. More towards Macon area.
A little further over, almost near Alabama, almost.
Okay, but it was in Georgia. It was not. It was not bad. I mean, you were not in somewhere remote.
It was in summer. It was in July, so it was hot.
It's hot. I'll take that back.
It's hot and humid. Georgia clay wasn't fun.
Oh yeah, I take that back. I know how humid it is.
I would prefer that over the cold though.
So this is a brand new MOS.
Yes.
Brand new to the recruiters. A lot to learn. Maybe obviously the framework was there globally because it is the armed forces. They're very organized in a sense. Did you take it well, the courses, the material, to learn this new technology, and did some of the skill sets as an AVL with cyber is technology, right? So you felt comfortable in that. I don't want to call it niche, but in that MOS.
Zero skills that I had in AVL translated into
what?
Zero.
So now you're behind a monitor, sitting down, coding.
Coding, all of that stuff. So I thought I was good at computers until I sat down and went through this course. So at the time, the course was 6 months in Pensacola, Florida. And to put it this way, in 6 months, you get equivalency of 24 credit hours.
Okay.
That's how much school is shoved down your brain.
Okay, wow.
And it's a lot. It's 1 week of course learning, which is about almost a semester hour or 2 semester hours. 1 week and then test. 1 week and then test.
Yeah.
So you were studying that week, take the test. If you failed
Friday?
it, usually on Friday. If you failed it, you get a retake. If you fail that, you're out of the course.
Oh, wow.
Completely.
Yeah, I remember when I was taking Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. This is back in the day. I won't age myself. Back in the day, it was similar, and the pressure. Oh my God, we're at from the lean manufacturing side. It came natural to me. Machine organization, process flowing, many things, but that Kaizen, Gemba, all that. But from the statistical side, going through confidence intervals and all this math and all the graphing and the capacity that like Minitab software has and learning all that, it was a lot of stress because yes, you took all those modules and everything was fine, but then we had to not only present a module and Friday, we also had to take the test. And just like you said, if you didn't pass that test, you're out.
You're out.
All right. So luckily you passed all those tests.
Passed all the tests.
How many tests were there total?
Ooh, I think there were. I don't even want to lie. I think there were maybe 16 modules.
Wow. 16 modules, that's amazing.
Yeah, not including like.
But I think he's military, and it's a tight knit community. You had professors that probably gave you the brain dumps, and gave you all that amazing material. I think when I was at Augusta Tech, because I have a microcomputer specialist degree, A+, N+. I was going to go into the IT world for a minute. And I did graduate, but luckily for me, I think one of the professors that was teaching the course was also a professor or a G9 or G11 at Fort Gordon.
Yeah,
and he provided the brain dumps, and he was a bridge to my success. Yeah. Did you have people like that during those courses?
Each module had a different instructor.
Oh my God.
So
16 instructors.
You may be comfortable. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Don't quote me on the 16, but okay. I think it was around that 16 or 20. Each module had a different professor. You would be close to some, close to others. Sure. There would be what we would call stomping of the feet. They'll mention something in a certain mod, and you hear that foot stomp. You're like, okay, I need to write that down. That little bit of help, but they were pretty strict with what they were allowed to hint at or what they were allowed to just advise us on tests.
So in between, interwoven, I see time management skills that you have to study, good organizational skills, and just absorbing that volume of material in such a short period of time. Literally Monday through Thursday, where Friday you took a test, and maybe the first few weeks was a bit daunting, but then you get maybe into mental rhythm, into that. Did everybody that started with you succeeded, or some people? No. Okay.
No. I mean,
a group of 30. How many?
We had a very high attrition rate.
Okay.
At the time, our attrition rate was about 70%.
70. Okay.
So 70%. 70% of the people were failing.
Yeah. Oh, no. That's
70% of the people were failing. And I mean, you failed out of the course, and you were going to be a cook. You were either going to go be a linguist. God. You were going to go into.
Well, they had an alternate MOS, or they chose for you.
No, sometimes they would choose for you. Other times they were like, "Hey, we only have these two or these three.
I'll see whatever's available.
Whatever's available."
You know what?
And so for me, I'm 24 years old.
Sure.
I'm not. This is the only thing I have right now.
Oh wow!
Like I had my mind made up, and I'm going to pass this. And
one of the things that I always feared, and I think my brothers shared the same thing because they were in the military. 82nd Division, Fort Bragg, Jump Master. One was in the Navy, then the communications, whatnot. I had a brother that was communications, but also combat medic. I mean, but the fear is, where are you going to be deployed to? Where they say, okay, yes, change of MOS. I'll see you in Alaska. I'll see you in somewhere in a base in Kuwait. I'll see you wherever they need you, right? Because some bases were full, right, to capacity, and they were already transitioning people that were leaving, but they already had the new cycle of soldiers that were going to do that. So you graduate from there, and did you go to other nations to exercising that cyber operations?
Yeah, so I've been I've been to Australia. I've been able to go to Colombia. I've been able to travel what we call CONUS here within the United States.
Different states within the United States.
Yes, different states.
What's the furthest state you've been to? Maybe like
California.
California. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Maybe from here because we're in Georgia, so that'll be the furthest. Actually, Hawaii.
That's 6 hours from here.
Yeah, Hawaii actually.
Okay. Oh, you've been to Hawaii?
Yeah, that'll be the furthest then.
I went to Oahu, Hawaii. I fell in love.
Yeah.
I was there. Actually, I was there preaching, and I was given a leadership conference. One of my books, Renaissance Leadership, and it was 6 hours from ATL to California, and then another 6 hours from there to Oahu or Honolulu.
Yeah.
And when you look at it where it's in the map, you're astonished because it's like a dot in the middle of the entire Pacific Ocean.
Yes.
So that was kind of scary when you look at it through Google Maps. But once you're there, it is literally paradise, pristine water and whatnot. So how long were you in these deployments?
So each one would be a couple of weeks.
Okay.
A couple of months.
And did your wife ever go with you?
Yeah. So I flew Cynthia out to Australia with me.
Okay.
For a couple of weeks.
Okay.
When I was there for about 6 months.
Okay. So once you graduated, you're in cyber operations. You were part of a unit. How did you progress through the ranks? Take me through that journey for you.
Yeah. I mean, by the grace of God, and just having God's grace over my life, I was able to find favor. Yes. In a lot of my leadership.
Favor is not fair, they say.
Favor is not fair. And that's my sister-in-law, Carla, tells me that. She's always like, hey, you have favor over your life. And
absolutely.
It's astonishing. Yeah. And I'll take all the favor I could get, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I definitely used God's favor.
Sure.
In my life. And I was able to, like I said, came in at 24. I was a lot older than these other recruits that came in with me, so I had something to prove. Sure. I was put in leadership positions automatically because of my age, so I used that as an advantage.
Absolutely.
And just came in and went through the ranks pretty quick. Actually,
I think one of the things that we were talking about is leadership. It's all about influence, right? Yes. You have no influence, you have no positive influence, or the desire to see other people succeed and become better and improve, not only through the trenches, but also people that are willing to receive the instruction, the work instruction, procedures, whatnot, and are able. You see their progression, and they go up the ranks. Mm-hmm. But that's also a testimony to your leadership, because you were part of that journey. Yes. And in my career, secularly in my career, I've had many professional mentors, but I also had a lot of spiritual mentors, right? And learning to goes back again to being humble, to being receptive to God's voice, to being able to adapt. And sometimes you get the good work, and sometimes you get to clean the bathrooms or do all that. But you being in leadership at such a young age, it all comes back full circle, where now you're in a profession as a cyber operations with a little bit more sensitive, missions, mm-hmm. critical mission control, and critical information, sensitive information. The public's on a need to know basis. Mm-hmm. It's you're conducting all these activities, but from a different periphery. And I think that a lot of people take that for granted, because we are also professionals, and when we're doing our jobs and we're in a position of leadership, you're not only seeing it through a corporal lens, our human sight. We're also seeing things as there's a purpose in my life through this. Yes. This a season, there's a chapter. And so I always look at it not only, again, corporally through my human sight, but also through God's favor and his provision. And when I look back in my life and how he connected the dots, knowing or unknowingly, that I knew at the time, but where I'm at today is only a testament to God's love, yes, to his mercy and favor, right? So that's amazing. What did you, one of the things that you learned that you would say this is a very paramount lesson in life, again, goes back to your failure. Yeah. Did you fail as a cyber operations leader? Or was it a unit failure more so instead of
we all fail. We all fail as individuals.
Sure.
And I think that's part of being responsible of your failures is part of learning. I definitely failed. I definitely failed a lot. And as a unit, we did as well. But some pivotal lessons that I learned through all of that was, not only myself, but the leadership that was leading me.
Sure.
And what I mean by that is we had great leaders and we had bad leaders.
Sure.
And I think I learned as much as I did with the good leaders and the bad leaders. Because I remember there was a moment where I was frustrated with certain decisions that were being made for my career and the way that my leadership was treating me.
Sure.
And how it was being directed, that it was frustrating me. And I took note of that, and I told myself, when I become a leader and I'm in their position, I'm promising myself now that I will not treat my soldiers the same way.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that was just a light bulb.
Sure.
I'm like, I appreciate and I thank God for that leader, because now I know how to treat my soldiers.
Absolutely. Responsibility and accountability. We have what's called a RASI org chart: who's responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. And I think that's, a lot of people, when they see my style of leadership, is that they don't realize that I have someone to be accounted for, and that's God himself. So a lot of times, when they expect you to be a little bit more assertive or abrasive or maybe worldly and put people in their place, but in a really foul manner, you really have to get yourself in check. Yeah. Because first of all, you're here. Leadership is a position of honor. You're a servant leader, whatnot, but you can't, in my life, I've never, I can't disassociate my faith with my career.
Very much so.
It goes hand in hand. I always admire, how God selected Noah to build the ark. A strategic planner, there was a mission, a blueprint, like we talked about blueprint. So same thing with Joseph, same thing with Daniel, same thing with Nehemiah. They were building, they were constructing, they had a strategy, a plan. There was a blueprint, not only a physical blueprint of erecting a physical building or a tabernacle or an ark. There was also a spiritual blueprint to their lives. Yes. And they were, yes, I'm building this physical thing. Yes, I'm building this career. Yes, I'm leading, but there's also a building inside of me. Yeah. There's also continually a renewal of God's presence and whatnot. And I've met, like you, many hundreds of soldiers that we have fellowship with that are probably in the same boat as you are, probably different MOS, but experiencing those same stresses that you probably have experienced. So take me through a common day in the life of Sergeant Laureano. What's a typical day for you? Now you are right now reserve. Is that correct?
National Guard. Yes.
National Guard.
Yes.
So when they call you, they have a national emergency, whatnot, or some ruckus, chaos. So anywhere that they need you, we're going to deploy the national. Broad. It's so broad.
It's so broad. So right now, because of my rank, I'm in a leadership position.
Okay.
So I may not be on keyboard. That's administratively. If we go operational, if we are deployed, I may be on keyboard, and that's a different job. Or if there's a catastrophe within the United States or in the States or wherever we help, that's civil duties.
When was your last, because I think a couple of months ago, if I'm not mistaken, you were deployed somewhere. Was it the natural disaster?
So Helene. Where? I was deployed during Helene.
During Helene,
to Anderson County, South Carolina. That opportunity was a pretty cool opportunity. That I was very thankful that I was placed in that position.
Okay, amazing. So now, full circle again, AVL, National Guard, cyber operations, which you still execute and serve.
Yes.
To now a transition into a position of ministry and leadership.
Yes.
Take me through that, because that's an entirely different calling. You see the different levels and how God really stretches your faith. Stretches your character, puts challenges before you, as he told Joshua, I will go before you. How what was that transition, and how were you led there? Because a lot of people they have the calling, or they sense the word or the instructions from above, but they're always procrastinating. Not now, not this season. Maybe 2 years from now when I finish A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And there's always kind of like a worldly need that they put before our Maker.
Yeah.
But you said, yes.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Here I am.
How did that went?
Here I am. God send me.
How did that come about? Take me through that journey.
Man, if there's one moment that was
pivotal
for me stepping into ministry, I remember being very young, and I was helping my pastor out at church, and it was just serving. You know, I wasn't preaching. It wasn't during service. It was just being at church, serving the kingdom.
Yes.
Improving the kingdom. And I said, I want to do this one day.
Sure.
I want to do this one day. And I tried running from it. And then about 10 years into my military career, successful career.
Sure.
Love the Army. Successful Army career. And I was in Pensacola. I was stationed in Pensacola, and I would come home for the weekends and go back for a while. I was standing up, helping stand up a platoon over there, and as a drill sergeant. I was a drill sergeant as well.
Okay,
that's a different leadership topic. It's pretty cool. But so I'm there, and I decided to take that position and travel a little bit because we had just purchased a home here in Augusta. And I said, well, let me get ahead of this, try to steer my career a little bit. Maybe if I go for 6 months, they won't PCS me over there. They won't move me over there. So
if you would be moved, they will move you permanently over there.
Permanently, yes.
Okay.
And Pensacola is beautiful.
Sure, absolutely.
On the beach.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want it?
Yeah.
But I was locked into my community. I was locked into church, my spiritual life, my relationship with God at the moment was on a high. I was loving it.
Sure.
And I told my command, I'll go. And in the hopes that they won't move me over there. Okay. And they're like, hey, since you're doing us that favor, we're not going to move you. I'm like, perfect.
Nice.
So I remember going into a 4-day weekend. It was a holiday. And my commander over there at the time, she's like, hey, Laureano, some sad news. They want to PCS you here. They want to move you here. And I said, ma'am, all due respect, that's not going to happen.
Sure.
She looked at me. She's like, I don't think you have a choice. And I'm like, no, ma'am, it's not going to happen. I'm getting out. If that happens, I'm getting out. I knew I was bluffing.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting out. My career in the Army was flourishing.
Sure.
I was doing amazing. And I was bluffing. I'm like, call them up, tell them I'm getting out. Because my ETS date, the date to get out was coming up the year following.
Okay.
And I told
her. You had a lot to think about at the time. Yes. Yeah.
You're
thinking about mortgage and life and kids and wife and all the
good stuff. Yeah. And the bonus, not to talk too much about money, but the bonus for me at that moment, they were giving me $70,000. No, $80,000. It was $80,000.
What a temptation!
Right?
What a temptation!
And I knew I was bluffing. I'm about to get $80,000. I'm not getting out of the Army.
Sure.
And they were just about to give me another rank.
Right.
And I told her, tell them I'm getting out. I'm going back. And I was bluffing. And I called my pastor at the time. I'm like, hey, this is what's happening. And they're like, hey, come work in the ministry. And weeks prior to that, God was dealing with me about transition, about being called,
absolutely,
about my ministry,
absolutely.
And I was feeling a tug, but I didn't know how and where things were going to play out.
Absolutely.
And it was there.
Yes,
it was at that moment, and I told him, let me pray about this, because I'm bluffing. I told the Army that, but I'm bluffing. I'm not going to go, right? So I went home, and that weekend I was just put my face to the ground and just seek God, prayed, and just started studying scriptures and going back to what God had told me. And we were talking about earlier about discerning and listening to God's voice.
Absolutely.
And I always tell people, scripture tells us the sheep know my voice.
Yes.
Right? If our mothers were to scream out our names right now, We know our names,
yes.
but we know their voice.
Absolutely.
It's an immediate, like, that's her.
Yes.
Right? So many voices are screaming out our names, telling us to go someplace.
Absolutely.
But if we hear that voice that we recognize, the shepherd's voice, our mother's voice, God's voice, we recognize it. And that's why it's important to discern and know God's voice, because at that moment, I heard his voice.
Wow. It's amazing because we were talking about that other voices seem appealing.
Yeah.
The appeal of the voice of a successful career and those that whisper in your ear, a new rank, the bonus, maybe a position of leadership, less work, more direction, more of an administrative role, stability. You know, as men, we like toys, right? I mean, maybe the car, or whatever your hobbies are, right? For me, it's mountain biking. You know, better bike, and better this, studio, whatnot. But discerning is one thing when our Maker puts us at check.
Yes.
Because it's not just about discerning. The voice merits a response, right? Every time God called his servants, you know, even Samuel, right? He said, "Here I am," or the other prophets and men of God. It was not just about the calling; it merited a response. So, when did you respond, saying, "This is the path that, though scary, though a lot of unanswered questions, said yes, this is what I'm going to do"?
So that was on a Wednesday or on a Thursday, whatever that long 4-day weekend was. I came back and told them. I came back Monday or Tuesday, whatever that was, and I told them, I'm out.
You're out.
I'm out. And
they didn't believe you.
Nobody believed me. Oh, wow. Nobody believed me. I got out of the Army, and people still didn't believe that I got out, because it's impossible for Sergeant Laureano to get out with how well he was doing.
Correct.
Where he was going.
Sure.
The promises that he had in the Army. It's impossible.
Sure.
Like, logically, it doesn't make sense, right?
Correct.
But I knew what God said.
Amazing.
I knew what God said.
So how did that come about to where you're at today?
So I got out of active duty, and I love the Army so much. So I'm like, you know what? Let me do it part-time.
Sure.
Let me. So I joined the National Guard.
And that's very important, because it's, you know, I teach, I advise on different revenue streams. You know, you have to, God also gives us the ability to create wealth, as Pastor Brian was actually teaching this Wednesday, and the ability to God gives us wisdom to create wealth. And that's, you know, we have to look at our lives strategically. We're a project in progress. So I'm glad that you have that avenue as well.
Very much much so.
So you did it part-time now. Well, you know, not part-time, but, you know, what's the terminology now? So you are
a National Guard.
Yes.
So a guardsman.
Guardsman. Okay.
Guardsman.
Okay. And then you have time. You say, okay, now I'm doing this as a guardsman.
Yes.
I'm not full time in the military. I've got time, and I got to fill up that time.
Yeah. So what filled up my time was ministry. So I started working for the church.
Okay.
For the kingdom.
Well, how did they approach you? I mean, you just didn't show up saying, "Hey, I'm here."
Well, that same weekend.
Okay.
That same weekend, I was my best friend still till now. He was on staff, and he had called the lead pastor, and lead pastor's Pastor Brian's like, "Come work."
AVL.
AVL, IT and AVL.
Look at that! It all came full circle.
It all came full circle. What I did when I was young
in
church, what transitioned into the production company was I was younger, which is AVL. What I learned in the military, which is IT, now comes into the kingdom.
Right. So all the audio, all the visual, all the cameras, whatnot. You know, I've been, I think, if I'm not mistaken, total time 10 years. 10 years. We were at the Best Buy when I first joined over there in Wrightsboro Road, a massive building, and we were smaller in group. But and of course, I think even my daughter Danelle participated in rotating the cameras, these massive things. And now when I look today and I sit down, it's unmanned. You know what I mean? And this high tech thing. So man, I need that for my studio. You know, so I'm not saying that I do, but if you have an extra one, you know, I'll definitely receive it for the kingdom. For the kingdom. But so I've seen the massive progression and improvement, which, you know, God takes us from glory to glory, right? And I've seen that on the, also not only spiritually there, but also on the technological side. You can see the difference. You can see the quality, and you are part of that. on the recording and
yeah. So I led that for a couple of years.
Okay.
And recently I've stepped back, and others have taken that leadership role in AVL. I still assist, so I'm still over IT, and I still assist. But man, they've taken AVL to a next level, and they're doing amazing with it.
Using the example of my daughter. So when she was doing that, you as a leader, knowing that you have. Sometimes it's volunteer basis, right? Not every there's so much work, right? Yes. There's so much work, and so very few that obviously can be full time in ministry or part of the staff.
Yeah,
part of the staff. So there's a lot of volunteer work to move back then, to move the cameras, to do this and that. And so Danielle, that's all she could do. Mm-hmm. So how did you lead those volunteers that were somewhat nervous and moving around or focus here, focus there? I'm not sure if they were zooming in or out. Yeah. I know back then, and she was just like left, right.
Yeah, I think speaking into volunteers and leading volunteers in church, because now I oversee. I'm the men's director.
Correct. Yes, I was going to ask.
Yeah, I'm the men's director, and I also oversee security and the ushers. And one of my most difficult times in leadership has been within the church, within the kingdom. And I don't mean difficult as in bad. I mean difficult as in learning, to where I need to pivot the way that I do things in what I've learned.
Sure.
And the reason why is because it's volunteer based.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
When I was young and I was directing people were getting paid. If you didn't like it, you could go.
Right.
In the military, you're a soldier.
Absolutely.
You soldier up, lace up your boots, and you go. You do what I say.
I can relate to that because again, coming back from I've been a quality manager for 21 years with the staff. Mm-hmm. Not saying that what I say is I delegate. We have a role responsibility. Yeah. Quality engineers, mechanical, design, PPAP. 14 technicians. You have a staff and you have a program, and this is going to be done. Mm-hmm. This is the timeline. And then you have volunteers, because I've been there as well in the church environment. Yeah, the ecclesiastes, that's the big word, environment. Whereas Joe didn't show up. Yeah, and he had a critical role. Yeah, and Susie had an emergency, and Paul's kid is sick, and then you had a plan. Yeah, and here it is. If you're nerdy as me, you have a project charter. You have a Gantt chart. Yeah, you have a PDCA. You know how nerdy I can get with this project management and stuff. So you have that because you want to serve with excellence.
Yes,
and then you show up, all hyped, all spirit fed. You're ready to go. Yeah, and 50% of your staff is not there.
Yeah,
how does Isaias Laureano handle that?
Man, it's still learning, right? Still learning, because like we said, it's a volunteer basis. Either you can.
Is that why you drink so much coffee?
So much coffee. I live off coffee.
I see in that little nook of the church. It's like this. That's his fifth coffee. And is it? So
it keeps me running.
I'll be like, do you need a volunteer? Do I need to do something? What do you need? So,
but
what's your learning process look like? When you say learning, that's such a broad learning. In what context? What areas of leadership?
Learning how to lead volunteers.
Learning how to lead volunteers.
Because leading volunteers is completely different from leading your subordinates in the commercial area, in business. Because you have processes, you have frameworks, you have a culture within your job that everybody has to adhere to. Right, sure. You're there, and it's going to work this way because this is the way that it's set to be.
Sure.
Within volunteer bases, it's just so many different backgrounds, so many different. So it's just a dynamic group of people that are there serving. They're serving their time, and it's that's the tricky part.
Sure. You try you try to infuse people with your passion, right? Mm-hmm. I think because I've been in that position where I've had to let them know the importance of it, and that you're doing it for the kingdom, and that there has to be responsibilities. I'm the one that I love clear communication. Yeah. This is why we have the meeting. This is what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. These are the expectations. Yes. These are the requirements, because not just every volunteer. I'm not just going to put anybody to volunteer. Mm-hmm. Has to be someone that has proven to be by Bible-based and an active leader, it has given testimony and whatnot. And then you have your good staff, and you see the potential in which they can evolve. But even with good communication, even with setting roles of responsibilities and conveying in a clear, concise manner, you have done your due diligence in saying, these are my expectations for this activity, whether it be a Bible study or a weekend event, now Resurrection Sunday or whatnot. And then you show up and you have some difficulties in personnel, or maybe someone's attitude changed about their participation in this event. To me, when I've had those challenges, I'm always hard on myself. It's like, what could I have done differently? Was my communication channel not clear enough? Was the email that I sent, these group emails, which probably with New Life has a 20 or 30 groups, and your men's group, right? You said I get your text all the time, right? Did I send it on time? Was it clear? Was it stuff like that? And you go through, because I'm overly critical of myself. But then again, you have to say to yourself, I've done the best I can, and I'm going to work the best I can with the resources that I can, and hopefully they will come around next time. And if not, there's always a new group of people that do that.
It's interesting because what I was referring to also was in the learning of my leadership. And what you just explained in all of that, the dynamics in that with different positions that I hold, it went from being in the military and also in the production world to where I was being driven by execution and mission.
Yes.
And my leadership's intent, to now in the kingdom, it's shepherding.
Yes.
There's a complete difference. So here I am driving mission, driving my commander's intent, driving what needs to occur for certain events, to now I'm leading, but I have to lead as a shepherd. I have to lead with the heart of Christ.
Yes. Love, empathy, sympathy, compassion.
Very much so. Like, where are the fruits of the Spirit?
You're an instructor.
Correct.
Teacher.
All of that stuff,
all of that, and I've seen that in the men's fellowship and the breakfasts on Saturday that we do have, and you have given a mini sermon or a mini illustration, Bible base. I look around in the room trying to gauge the room and people's attentiveness toward what you're exposing and illustrating, and you've got their attention, so just as a testimony, when I look around,
praise God, at least somebody's paying attention.
Paying attention. They're not on their phones. Maybe one or two kids, but right, because it's kind of like an adult atmosphere, so to speak, right? You could bring your children and whatnot, but you hone in and you deliver the message. And I'm glad you said that you're shepherding them, because that's a process in their lives. Some people in the Bible says they give 30, and some people give 50, 90, 100. And though you're giving 90 or 80, if they're giving the 30 that they were called to give, who are you to judge their 30? Just make sure that you're delivering your 80 or your 90. And that's the way I look at it. I try not to be as hard as I was in my earlier days, and my because I was growing in leadership just like you. And just like you, maybe not in the military, but it was all about the project. There's a project cycle. I have to finish here. There's some milestones in between. There's some checks and balances. There's a closing meeting. There's some lessons learned. And none of that was working in church. And I would go crazy. I would go, whether I was a youth pastor, right? And I supervised 12 youth groups. And I was back in that our denomination. It's called AHIC. And the Association of Youth Ambassadors of Christ, I don't know, Embajador de Cristo. So, and I supervised 12 youth groups in different churches, different states, whatnot. And man, I was struggling. I was struggling trying to find that leadership trait that would not be overly critical. So now you're shepherding. You're doing part-time the audio-visual security. You got 5 titles. You just mentioned about 5 or 6. And of course, part of the altar care team. I see you on the front as well. What what does the future hold for you? Not only as you're growing in the leadership, growing in your faith, where because God may say this is the next season in your life. What does your heart and say about the next upcoming 5 years?
Yeah, the next upcoming 5 years. Wow. Are we talking about military? Are we talking about church,
both.
kingdom?
Give me both
right?
of them. Yeah, kingdom first and then military.
Yeah, I mean kingdom. Just going back to that discernment, and hearing God's still voice, just waiting on what the next step is. Okay. I wish I knew what 5 years looked like.
Well, absolutely.
In the kingdom, right?
Yeah.
But we lean not on our own understanding.
Absolutely.
And we trust in God, and He's going to direct all of our paths. So
yeah,
I'm in the following the direction of His path right now.
Absolutely.
Just waiting to hear what the next step is. So just continuing what God has placed in my heart, men's ministry, just that pastoral care,
sure,
the heart for the people.
Sure,
that's what He's driving me to.
Sure. And like I said, I've seen you being effective in that, and as you grow and expand and be of a great influence, it's almost a tight knit. There's a lot of visitors, people come and go because some are military, others are here for a job, a career, and maybe they move. But then there's the heart of the church, right? The group of people and whatnot. And I've seen, like I said, it's a church with multiple fruits, constantly growing, always leaders that have vision, have a mission. In my case, I'm always project planning about, hey, I'm going to get this certification, I'm going to do this and that. But I always give permission to God to take my plans and just tear them apart, and just align and be discerned. I navigate in the realm of writing books, right? And I feel that every year God drops a seed of inspiration, and He allocates not only the time but the resources to do it. And if He places it in your heart, like you said, it's because He knows that you're capable.
Yes.
That we stumble, He is our strength. He provides wisdom. He's going to direct us, and we will not fail. Yes. That we will prosper. Now, in the military, what does 5 years look like? So, because that you can't control.
Yeah, that I can control a little bit. I'm going to be stepping into first sergeant position. And going into having leading my own company, and then from there, eventually a sergeant major school. But you're also directing. You have your own business that you're trying to, the AVL. It goes back to So Laureano Productions.
Laureano Productions. So I sense he's gonna get busy quick. So we'll put that in the comment section in the hyperlink. And if you can start getting calls, like I always said, I think I told Swayze, I want some royalties, because I need to fund. I got you, brother. I need to fund this podcast somehow.
I got you, brother.
So if you get 2 or 3 contracts, say, I saw you on that podcast, and you're like, hey, Daniel, here's your commission check.
Here's that camera you want.
Exactly. There you go to the camera. If you got an extra camera, please bring it my way for the kingdom. Can I throw it in there for the kingdom? My producer is smiling. He's smiling ear to ear. That's a message. So finishing off your thought on the military. Yeah. So I mean, just that and new rank, new position. Eventually, 1 to 2 ranks within those 5, and schooling. But you're 14 years already in the military. Yes. You want to do the 20. You want to finish with 20. Have to do that 20. Okay. So absolutely. There's an end goal. Yeah. End goal of 20. Schooling in between, whatnot. Yes. Some schooling also in ministry or both go hand? Completed parallel. Yeah, already school in ministry. That's about to be completed already. Sure. So we're wrapping that up. Yeah. When I was at the age of 26, 27, just to wrap this up a bit, I was approached to pastor a church. And at the time, my kids were small, and I was more in the music evangelistic realm. So I was revivals, conferences, and both domestically here in the United States, all from New York and Boston all the way down to Florida, and then God opened a lot of doors in Puerto Rico and whatnot. And then this opportunity came to pastor a church. And it seemed so at the time, you feel honored, right? That
Yeah.
somebody would approach you, see the gifts and talents and abilities, and specifically the calling that was over your life, that which was extremely humbling to even be recognized and considered for that. But that voice of discernment, and my wife and I, we just prayed about it, meditated, and asked God, and there was no that assurance.
Yeah.
With those, hey, thank you for this opportunity, but God wants something else, and I'm glad for that decision, because, what if God is calling Mr. Laureano, and He says, yes, you are full time, but how New Life is, it flourishes it blooms like a flower, and it has all these hubs. Who knows that Pastor Brian has a dream, has a vision, and it has you in his heart somehow, some way for this new assignment. That's something that you're receptive to, something that the Lord has placed in your heart, or do you see yourself in those roles?
It's a good question. I haven't thought that far out.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been
Okay.
a thought, nothing that I've dug into.
Sure.
Right. I don't like I had mentioned before. Lean not on your own understanding.
Absolutely,
I don't want to limit God. I don't want to create a vision for myself.
Sure. Okay.
That is not for me.
Absolutely. Yes.
Interesting to what you were just speaking about, where you were offered a church and you didn't take that opportunity because it wasn't what God was leading you to. And we have so many, as leaders, we have so many, and as fathers and as husbands, we have so many decisions that we have to take, right? Somebody asked me the other day, man, you do so much. You wear so many hats.
Yes.
You're in charge of so much.
Absolutely.
How do you do it?
Yes.
And I told him, I could sleep at night.
Yeah.
I could sleep at night knowing that it's not my decisions that drive it.
Yeah.
I could sleep at night knowing that I'm leading because I'm being led by Christ. If something goes wrong, if something's apparently wrong, right?
Sure.
Or something, is not going well, I can sleep because it's Christ that's directing my path. It's Him that, if I'm supposed to be doing something, He told me to do it, and it's not going like I planned, I can sleep because it's God driving this.
Sure.
Right. And that's what I told him. I'm at peace because I'm following His path.
Just to wrap it up here, because man, there's so much to talk about. Someone that is aspiring to be a Sergeant Laureano, someone that is going probably through that same path that you have successfully gone through, what would you advise that individual, whether it be male or female?
Yeah, male or female.
And family, you know, because there's that element of family.
Yeah.
You didn't do this by yourself. There's a family there.
Correct, and that was just what I was about to touch on it. And I'll speak mainly to the men, but the women and the wives, and they could glean from this. But it is first and foremost a relationship with Christ that is going to drive you to success. Listening to that voice, reading and studying the scriptures and praying. That's where your answers are coming from. That's where your leadership truly comes from. And also, don't neglect your home, because you could be successful in the army. You could be successful in ministry. You could be successful at church. You could be successful at work.
Yeah, in a career, yes.
But if you're not successful at home, you're a great leader, but if you're not leading correctly at home, all else is a failure.
Sure. I heard this phrase that said, I'm so poor that the only thing I have is money. And that if all you have is money and you don't have a family unit, you don't have shared experiences or the environment where you're creating healthy memories with your loved ones, and then your career just robbed your life, robbed your peace. Time flies. 3-4 years go by so fast. You see your kids grown and you didn't share with them. You were not involved in their lives. And that's one of the things that secularly I advise leaders and professionals in the secular realm is that, yes, a career is important. The corner office, the window, the prestige of a position, of a salary. But if at the end of the day, it costs at the expense of not having a relationship with your wife or your family, then you did not succeed.
It's not worth it.
You just made somebody else wealthy. Yeah, right.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. That was amazing. Good advice.
Yeah, that, and also it's just leadership is about people. You know, we get the mission done, but if you don't have your people's trust, you don't have influence. So it's about people, and with people comes that communication.
Yes.
Right? Because if you're so far into getting things done with no people skill, there goes the communication, there goes the trust, there goes that avenue to where you're able to influence the people. Because without that, there's no respect. Without that, there's no influence. Without that, there's you're limiting yourself. So.
Well, I just want to say it's been an amazing treat. It's been amazing. It's been amazing that Sergeant Laureano, brother is Isaias, like, and I'm glad that you corrected some people mentioning my last name, Badillo.
Yes.
But I want to say that I wish you great success. I know you will be successful, not only in the military, ministry, personal, your family's blessed. Yeah. The favor is upon you. So I just want to say thank you. For those that want to see this amazing podcast and know about Mr. Isaias, Sergeant Isaias Laureano, Minister Isaias Laureano, and all the diversity that he brings on the AVL and all his talents, abilities, and stuff like that. Tune in. We're going to have this amazing podcast to our YouTube channels, social media. We're going to put some links on how you can contact him for all this new business that he's venturing in. And you talk about time management, he's going to need some grace, some favor, some wife approval too on the time allocated. So it's been a blessing. Once again, thank you so much, and I will see you on the next episode.